Thank you. Just wanted to say a quick thanks to Green and Minnie and City of Melbourne. It's been a pretty fun project to work on with the guys, and nice to not have to enter a competition that's a train station or something huge that our practice doesn't do, something that we could relate to. So that's been very enjoyable. So I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview, and then the guys will run you through the nitty gritty. So when we sat down and after having visited the site, we refined our core goal down to how do we bring the quarter acre block into an urban environment? How do we get the feeling and the vibe from a residential home and bring that into the city? And that became our main challenge. Particularly, I guess, focused around green space and outdoor spaces, being at visual and physical connections from the indoor to the outdoor. In terms of the site, and as some of the other guys have spoken about, we do place a lot of emphasis on the context. So bit of an unusual one here with the three sort of overbearing buildings around us, but again some really good exposure to the north. So we're coming here. How can we maximise that north light? How can we achieve these outlooks from the internal spaces to green space with various offices and buildings that are going to be overlooking us all the time? So there's some pretty interesting challenges that we took on. So initially our research took us to a few projects in Japan and Vietnam. So densely populated and a lot of interesting projects that started to explore verticality. So we interestingly, we all went away and ended up coming back with probably 2 or 3 projects that were all the same. So it gave us a bit of a good feel that we're on the right track together. The other thing that we found interesting was the brief was pretty broad in terms of its 2 adults and 2 kids. So we wanted to try and dial in and give us a little bit more of specificity. So a bit of chewing the fat around the office, we decided to design this for Hamish Blake, his wife Zoe Foster Blake. They've got a sonny who's 3 and Rudy who's a newborn. So I guess by putting a name and a face and a client to the project, it sort of allowed us to dial in on, all right, what do these guys need now, and what are they going to need in 10 years' time and 20 years' time, and how can we grow in place? So that became quite a sort of a focus as much as those other considerations. So I'll pass you over to Eliza and she'll take you through things.
Do you want to do slides?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. The planning strategy was to push the circulation to the south with split levels tic-tacking east to west. This allowed us to play with void space to the north, which assisted in bringing northern light into the full depth of the plan. Pulling back the floor plate on the upper level enables connection, visual and acoustic, between the social spaces of the home. The large volume makes what is a small footprint feel big. So just to run through the plans quickly. The design makes provision for a mini countryman to park under the elevated structure with the entry to the house located off the carport. The split level approach creates low height bike storage below. From the entry, guest bedroom and bathroom is located on the first level of the house, with kitchen and meals following, where volume and light were prioritised being the social hub of the home. Living is located above. A balustrade height wall connects this space with the kitchen below, despite being on different levels. An outdoor terrace is located off the living area. We then move up to Rudy's nursery with void over kitchen, and then up to Sunny's bedroom with shared bathroom. The uppermost level includes Hamish and Zoe's bedroom, ensuite and robe. Alongside an outdoor terrace is a space for family and friends to gather, taking advantage of afternoon sun. Laundry and clothesline are accommodated here. We also considered the concept of growing in place and how the arrangement of spaces can evolve alongside the changing lifestyle of a young family of 4. We considered how Rudy and Sunny might share a bedroom through primary school, allowing what is now a nursery to become a study for Zoe's writing. When Sunny grows into his teenage years, perhaps he moves downstairs to the guest bedroom, giving him his own space and a sense of separation from his parents and annoying little sister. Provision for a lift in the southwest corner of the plan has been made for ease of access in the future if required, given the design is multi-level. In considering access alongside the concept of how a family will grow, we also considered how a family eventually reduces in size when children leave home and what happens to the empty space. This the context of an urban infill project prompted us to consider how Airbnb could be utilised. The guest bedroom was located with these ideas in mind. And now Kataba will talk about the massing and form of the building.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. I just wanted to check. So the building form is a response to site context massing generators, both its constraints and opportunities. The house is envisaged as a 6-sided elevated timber screened enclosure with no behind nor aft. Operable facade panels to the north provide an adjustable boundary condition between inside and outside. Passive solar shading, solar access and cross ventilation at no cost to the level of privacy one would expect in a quarter-acre block. To our west, the building facade delicately folds, acknowledging and negotiating its way around the existing street tree canopy. To our immediate south, the building form is set back and the massing height is controlled to allow direct solar access to the adjoining building's lowest of windows, equinox to summer and back to equinox again. The semi-screened framework with cascading elevated landscape engages with and offers an outlook for the occupants of the adjoining building that is not a blank wall. Over to our east, arguably one of the more visible approaches, we see the building lifted at the ground condition with small screened apertures to the wall above. Given the limited access to the site and the existing car park over which the dwelling is sited, expedited construction methods were considered. The proposal seeks to limit wet trades and instead leverages prefabricated SIPS walls and cassette pre-plumbed floor roof engineered timber truss technologies, all fixed to a steel post and beam structural frame. So I'll just introduce Jess. She'll be taking you for the next section.
Without slides. Landscaping is an important tool in creating a buffer between the private home we have designed for our clients and the City of Melbourne. For us, the split-level sectional arrangement allows for the social relationship internally and also constant visual relationships to the landscape externally. Similar to the suburban quarter-acre block of which we drew our concept from, we aim to ensure that every space has a visual or physical connection to landscape. Largely, this connection is with the large, lightweight green wall structure situated to the south. The green wall acts as an evolving barrier between the office building, as we have touched on, and providing it with a green space outlook also. Moving around the building, the timber screens play an important role in creating privacy between the neighbouring office buildings and the otherwise very public domain in which the building sits. We studied how the design of the screens in their size and positioning maximises the winter sun and minimises the peak summer sun. Timber as a material is an intentional contrast to the adjoining urban context, offering richness, warmth and a level of refinement that provides both a residential and architectural sense of place. The end.